The Sounds of Summer is brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Race in for a great deal on the Honda of your dreams during the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event. Accord, Civic, CRV, HRV, Pilot, and more. Take advantage of the savings and see your local Honda dealer today. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to the Sounds of Summer, brought to you by your local Honda dealers. I'm Charlie Slows, the radio voice of the Nationals on 106.7 The Fan, the flagship home for Nationals baseball in the nation's capital. When we last talked to you at the end of June, the Nationals were on quite a roll. They would finish June 19-9. They would finish June with a tremendous win over the Tampa Bay Rays, sweeping that two-game interleague series, the 15-6 win, with Trey Turner hitting for the cycle for the third time in his career and tying a major league record in doing so. What we didn't know when he came out of that game, after the triple in the bottom of the sixth inning, he jammed his left index finger into the third base bag and would have to miss the next 4 games for the Nationals. Jordy Mercer also strained a quad in that game. He did finish the game, but he would go on the injured list. And the very next day, when the Nationals took on the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Nationals were shorthanded. Alex Avila, their backup catcher, had to play second base. It turned out to be a rain-shortened game, and Patrick Corbin, who had pitched well over the first 4 innings, gave up 5 runs in the top of the 5th inning, included a grand slam home run by Max Muncy. The Dodgers were there then up by the score of 6-2, and the game never continued after a long rain delay, and the Dodgers won a 5-inning game by the score of 6-2. The next night in game 2 of the series, more injury-plagued happenings for the Nationals. Kyle Schwarber in the bottom of the 2nd inning on a single to right strained his hamstring approaching the first base bag. He, too, would wind up on the injured list for the Nationals. The Dodgers went on to win that game 10-5, despite a strong start for Max Scherzer, who gave up just a run on 4 hits, a Justin Turner solo homer in the 4th inning. That over 6 innings for Max with 8 strikeouts. The Dodgers then had a 9-run 7th inning, a disastrous inning against the Nationals bullpen, and went on to win the game by the score of 10-5. So the Nationals playing shorthanded in the next game of the series, and the Dodgers won it by the score of 5-3 with Paolo Espino starting that game, gave up 3 runs, 3 hits in 4 1/3 innings. But again, the Dodgers were able to add a run in the 6th, a run in the 9th. The Nationals, with Yan Gomes' 3-run homer in the bottom of the 4th inning, would be all the runs they would score. And the Dodgers won the game by the score of 5-3. And LA completed a 4-game sweep of the Nationals with a win in the Sunday game. They beat Joe Ross and the Nationals by the score of 5-1. Ross allowed a solo home run in the 4th inning. And then into the 7th inning, they scored 2 more. He gives up 3 runs, 7 hits over 6 2/3, despite a season high 11 strikeouts. And the Dodgers won the game by the score of 5-1. So after the Nationals started the month of July, after a 19-9 month of June, it was a rough go. And then it was out to San Diego for a tough West Coast trip. 4 games in San Diego and then 3 in San Francisco against these top teams from the West. Well, the Nationals scored a run in the first of game 1 of the series with San Diego on Trey Turner's 15th home run of the year, and then scored 3 more in the top of the 2nd, built a 5-0 lead against Joe Musgrove, who had thrown the first no-hitter in Padres history very early in the season. Well, the Nationals saw that lead slip away. The Padres came back with 3 runs at the bottom of the 3rd, 2 more in the bottom of the 4th inning, including Fernando Tatis Jr. and his 23rd home run of the year, and it was a 5-5 game. But Josh Bell homered in the 7th inning for the Nationals, and Alcides Escobar was picked up in a trade from Kansas City's AAA Omaha club at the beginning of that week, doubled in another run, and the Nationals bullpen able to hold the lead with a win for Wander Suero, holds for Sam Clay and Austin Voth, and Brad Hand with his 19th save of the year. The Nationals won it by the score of 7-5. But the Padres took game 2 of the series by the score of 7-4. Eric Fetty, off the injured list to make the start, gave up 6 runs on 8 hits in 4 1/3 innings. They gave him the Nationals had fallen behind 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th and came back with 3 at the top of the 5th on a 3-run homer by Josh Harrison. But Fetty could not survive the bottom of the 5th. 3 runs more across for the Padres. They go on to win the game by the score of 7-4. Mark Melancon, his 26th save of the year, the former National, who would go to the All-Star game for the 4th time. The Nationals did win the game 3 on Wednesday night of that series, 15-5. They scored 3 of the first, 4 of the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the fourth inning. So 10 runs on the board for the Nationals before the Padres ever scored in that game in the bottom of the fifth. Included a 3-run homer for Juan Soto in the first inning, 2-run double for Josh Bell in the 4-run second, followed by a 2-run single by Starlin Castro. And the pitching story, Patrick Corbin, a strong start, giving up just 2 runs over 6 innings. And again, the Nationals win it by the score of 15-5. And they were in good shape to win the fourth game of the series with Max Scherzer on the mound. The Nationals scored 3 in the first, including a Trey Turner home run, and scored 3 more in the third inning of the game to build a 6-0 lead. Then added a 2-run homer from Trey Turner in the top of the fourth inning. They led the game 8-0 with Max Scherzer pitching. You would think they'd be in pretty good shape, but it was a disastrous bottom of the fourth inning for Max. He gave up a solo homer leading off to Fernando Tatis Jr. after getting the first out with a strikeout, a hit batter, a single, a hit batter, a bases loaded walk. Then he strikes out the number 8 hitter. But with a pitcher, Daniel Camarena, in the game, he had just come on to relieve Yu Darvish in the fourth inning. He hits a grand slam. Unbelievable. In his first major league hit, a grand slam home run for Daniel Camarena. Then a pop fly by Tommy Pham, couldn't be caught down the right field line, ended up being a double, and that was it for Max. Into the game came Kyle Finnegan, a base hit to score another run. Padres put 7 across in the bottom of the fourth inning. It was still an 8-7 Nationals lead, but they didn't score again against the Padres bullpen with 6 shutout innings in relief. Padres score a run at the bottom of the sixth, doubled home by Tommy Pham, and later they win it with a walk-off base hit at the bottom of the ninth inning by Trent Grisham off Sam Clay, and a heartbreaking 9-8 loss for the Nationals in San Diego. It was on to San Francisco, and the Giants took the opening game of that series 5-3. Paolo Espino in the start gave up 3 runs over 3 2/3 innings, 2-run homer to Kurt Casale in the bottom of the second inning. And the Giants, even though the Nationals came back with 3 runs at the top of the third to tie the game at 3-3, Padres won it with solo homers by Darren Ruff at the bottom of the fifth and by Wilmer Flores in the bottom of the seventh inning against Nationals relievers Sam Clay and Wander Suero. And that was the story. The Giants won it 5-3. They won game 2 of the series on Saturday, July 10th, handily by the score of 10-4. Nationals with John Lester in the start knocked out after 2 2/3 innings. Not all his fault, but he couldn't pitch around a couple of errors. The Giants scored 3 unearned runs in the first inning. They score 5 more in the bottom of the third. 8 runs in 2 2/3 for Lester in his shortest start of the year. Anthony DeSclafani blanked the Nationals on 3 hits over 6 innings. Giants win it by the score of 10-4. And in the final game before the All-Star break, a 3-1 win for the Giants. Eric Fetty victimized a 3-run homer by Kurt Casale in the bottom of the second inning, and the lone Nationals run scoring with the help of an error and an RBI for Josh Harrison in the seventh inning against Kevin Gausman, an All-Star himself, gave up just that run in 4 hits over 6 innings plus, and the Giants closed it out by the score of 3-1. So the Nationals went to the All-Star break with a record of 42-47. They lost 4 games during that stretch in the standings to fall 6 games back of the first place New York Mets. We'll have more when we continue here with the sounds of summer after this word from your local Honda dealers. Hi, this is Charlie Slows telling you to be confident in a new Honda. Enjoy the open road in a turbocharged sedan like the sophisticated Accord or the tech-savvy Civic with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get rugged in an adventure-ready all-wheel drive SUV like the HR-V, CR-V, Pilot, or Passport with features like Honda Sensing, magic folding seats, and 3 different driving modes. Now's the best time to buy. Don't miss your chance to get a great deal on your favorite Honda model. See your local Honda dealer today. Well, during the All-Star break, several Nationals were in Denver for the All-Star festivities and, of course, the game. And Juan Soto's tremendous battle with Shohei Ohtani, his draw in the Home Run Derby, was maybe the best part of the Home Run Derby. It's been the case a lot of the years since they began the Derby. Some of the first-round matchups are the best, and 31 homers for Soto in that round against Shohei Ohtani still advanced him on eventually, but not enough to win the whole thing. A lot of guys get tired when you get to the later rounds, but a tremendous performance by Pete Alonso of the Mets, who seems to be a machine in these things, and he went on to win it easily in the final round over Trey Mancini, who also had a tremendous performance in the Home Run Derby representing the Orioles. And, of course, Max Scherzer started the All-Star game for the 4th time in his career, a 1-2-3 first inning with a strikeout. Trey Turner got to participate in the game as well, play short with a couple of at-bats. Of course, Kyle Schwarber with a hamstring injury. He was there to participate in a lot of the festivities, but of course could not actually play with the hamstring injury. The Nationals resumed after the break, July the 16th, starting at home against the Padres. This game, too, was not a good one for the Nationals. The Padres scored in each of the first 6 innings of the game. The Nationals gave up the most runs in their history. The Padres scored the most in their history, and they won it by the score of 24-8. Included Will Myers' grand slam in the second inning, and then later on a 2-run homer in the 6th inning. Included Jake Cronenworth hitting for the cycle with a 2-run double in the second, an RBI triple in the third, a solo homer in the 5th, and an infield dribbler for a hit to complete the cycle for Jake Cronenworth. And the Padres went on to win big by the score of 24-8. Eric Fetty lasted an inning and a third, 6 runs, 3 hits, but 4 walks really are what hurt him. And the Padres beat up on the Nationals bullpen in that game in the win. And they won the next night, pounding out 18 hits in that one after 22 in game 1 and beat the Nationals 10-4. Patrick Corbin giving up 6 runs, 10 hits in 5 1/3. Nationals did have a 3-run homer from Ryan Zimmerman, an RBI hit from Josh Harrison for their offense in that one. But despite getting Blake Snell out of the game after 4 innings, the Nationals could not keep pace with the Padres. They win it 10-4. They did salvage the final game of the series. They won it in walk-off style in the bottom of the 9th inning. Alcides Escobar with a hit to win it off of Mark Melancon after he hit a home run at the bottom of the 8th inning that drew the Nationals to within 1 in a seesaw battle. The Nationals scored 4 runs at the bottom of the 3rd inning against Joe Musgrove to build a 4-0 lead. But the Padres came back with an Eric Hosmer 3-run homer in the top of the 4th inning to make it a 4-3 game. And Max Scherzer didn't give up many hits in this game, just 4, but hurt by 2 home runs, a game-tying home run by Jurickson Profar in the top of the 7th inning. And then Daniel Hudson gave up a 2-run homer to Manny Machado in the top of the 8th inning. So the Nationals were behind. They rallied with the Escobar home run leading off the bottom of the 8th, and later a 2-run homer for Juan Soto to tie the game. But the Padres scored against Brad Hand at the top of the 9th. The Nationals rally 2 runs, actually a game tied at the top of the 9th inning by the Padres, and then they win it with 2 hits, a hit batter, and Escobar's single for the walk-off win in the bottom of the 9th. The Nationals win it 8-7. Into town came the Miami Marlins, hopefully a little easier task for the Nationals, and it was in game 1. John Lester had the best game of his first year with the Nationals. 7 shutout innings, 5 hits, struck out 7, walked none, and hit the 4th home run of his career. A 2-run blast over the center field wall in the bottom of the 5th inning, 419 feet, and it turned out at that point to be the Nationals' 5th home run of the game. 3 batters into the bottom of the 1st against former National Ross Detweiler. Juan Soto with a 3-run homer. Josh Bell went back-to-back batting right-handed. The Nationals had 4 in the 1st. They scored 6 more chasing Detweiler at the bottom of the 2nd. Trace Barrera has been filling in behind the plate. The rookie catcher with his first major league home run led off the inning. And then after a base hit by Lester and Escobar was hit by a pitch, Trey Turner blasted a 3-run home run. And then later a Juan Soto double and a double by Josh Harrison made it a 6-run inning. And the Nationals went on to win the game 18-1, capped off by Soto's second home run of the game, a 3-run shot at the bottom of the 7th inning off Sandy Leon, backup catcher for the Marlins, a former National who came in to pitch. His first batter, Soto, and he blasted that one to left center. His 3rd career multi-home run game of the year, I should say 3rd of the year, and 10th multi-home run game of Soto's career. They win it 18-1. They take game 2 of the series by the score of 6-3, and that was Paolo Espino getting the start. 5 shutout innings, 4 hits. He struck out 3 and walked none, despite Austin Voth coming into the game in relief, giving up 3 runs very quickly, a 3-run homer by Adam Duvall. And at that point, the Nationals were trailing 3-2. So again, they had to come from behind, and they did so with 3 RBI hits in the bottom of the 6th inning. You had pinch hitter Yadiel Hernandez, Trey Turner, and eventually Juan Soto with the hits to put the Nationals in front for a tack-on run. The Josh Bell pinch hit home run at the bottom of the 8th, and the Nationals bullpen did the job the rest of the way. With the holds for Kyle Finnegan, Daniel Hudson, and Brad Hand with his 20th save of the year, the Nationals win it 6-3. But the Nationals' bats went cold in the final game of the series on Wednesday, July the 21st. The Marlins won it by the score of 3-1. Nick Neidert, who was called up for the minor leagues, made the start and allowed just 1 run. driven in by Andrew Stevenson, back up in the big leagues with an RBI double to the bottom of the fourth inning. And Neidert went 5 innings. The Marlins bullpen blanked the Nationals over the final 4. And Eric Fetty, he allowed just an unearned run and 4 hits over 6 innings in a very good start. But the Marlins able to win this one with 2 runs in the top of the 10th inning. Brad Hand, who had pitched a 1-2-3 ninth inning, could not pitch around the free runner at second. Eventually, there was an RBI double by pinch hitter Jorge Alfaro, and later a sacrifice fly delivering a second run by Miguel Rojas of the Marlins. And the Nationals could not score against Yimi Garcia in the bottom of the 10th inning. The Marlins win it by the score of 3-1. So through 95 games, the Nationals with a record of 45-50 and 6 games back of the first place Mets in the National League East. They begin a series against the Orioles at Camden Yards, the second half of the Battle of the Beltway series. And it'll be Patrick Corbin in game 1 of that series. Record of 6-8 against Jorge Lopez, 2-12. You can hear it on 106.7 The Fan and the Odyssey app, where you can stream all Nationals games. 6:35 with Nats on deck, 7:05 first pitch. Saturday, July 24th, game 2 will be a 6:35 first pitch. We'll be on the air at 6:05. Max Scherzer, 7-4. Will start for the Nationals against rookie Spencer Watkins for the Orioles with a record of 2-0. And at the time we're recording, John Lester starts in the Sunday game, a 1:05 start, 12:35 air. The Orioles had not yet named a starter. Then the Nationals move on to Philadelphia. 4-game series with the Phillies. That'll be a big series. The night games, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. The Nationals will return home against the Chicago Cubs for their only visit of the year. Friday night, July the 30th. The 31st as well, a night game, and then a Sunday afternoon game against the Cubs, followed by the Phillies into Nationals Park for a 4-game series. We'll update you on everything that happens in our next edition of the Sounds of Summer. I'm Charlie Slows. We're brought to you by your local Honda dealers. We'll see you next time. Hey, it's Charlie Slows inviting you to check out The Sounds of Summer, my monthly recap of Washington baseball all summer long on 106.7 The Fan's YouTube page and social accounts. The Sounds of Summer is brought to you by your local Honda dealer.